lifeafterkids.tv, which is my blog.
Lifeafterkids.tv. Oh, so you're not talking about the old boring topic of you can survive parenthood.
No, I came up with something that people really laugh at, which is I'm too old to buy Pampers and I'm too young to buy Depends. So I kind of fall into that midlife, empty nested baby boomer phase that I feel is really underserved by the blogging market, by the consumer market, by advertisers. And I didn't even start it thinking I would do anything with it other than it became a diary to chronicle how I felt about my son's leaving the nest. And you read about things, and sometimes I was in media before, in television, they put a name on everything: an empty nest, a pre-parent, a stay-at-home mom, working on, to me it's like there's always another something to sell soap. But there was a genuine feeling the Saturday morning I woke up, and after 20 years of waking up and doing everything for my children first, even though I was a full-time working mother, I didn't know what to do. I was lost without that key role of being a parent, a mother, waking up to make sure they were fed. Did they have their clothes washed? All the things that you put into for such a long time. And so I sat down at the computer and I started to write about it. And then through Facebook or friends, and I had friends that were in the media who were blogging, I said, I'll start a blog. And I did a blogspot thing. And I didn't do it with the thought of anybody reading it other than just a way to write, or maybe I'd write a book about it. And I'd been in TV advertising where I wrote short little blurbs, promos. So the most I wrote was 30 seconds of copy at any given time. So from 3 seconds, 5 seconds of copy to 30 seconds, here I had a platform to write 1,000 words, which is almost a magazine article. And I did that for fun, and then as circumstance had it, I hurt my back, was laid up for months, went on Facebook really in depth and said, I really enjoy writing. What am I going to do with the second half of my life? I was working full time at the local Fox station, and that got decided for me really quickly when I got laid off. They have big budget cuts. But I was ahead of most people because I already had this platform that I was writing with, and I thought, well, I can do something with that. And so in the last year, on my original blogspot or my WordPress.com, I had about 3,000 to 4,000 people who read it without any promotion, any Twitter, whatever. And 4 months ago, I migrated to the WordPress.org platform, taught myself through reading, through Facebook, through Twitter, learning through all the social media people how to do certain things. And I was approached by a woman who was the founder and CEO of Mingle Media TV Network. She was launching a TV network online and wanted, a wide range of mothers, fathers, not just, like the Pamper set, but people with relationships. She has a widow, she has couple relationships, she has grandmas on there, she has a blogging person if you want to blog, she has webisodes. It's everything. It's Mingle Media. She does red carpet, events, everything. So I finally said yes and stepped out from behind the camera and producing all these years to in front of the camera and hosting my show, which is on Sundays at 9 p.m. on minglemediatv.com. But if you go to my blog, I have a click-through button. And I'm starting slowly, and I'm calling it a lifestyle blog. It's a state of mind. We were talking earlier, you have kids, and, they leave. And it's not just about having kids. It's a state of mind. I think there is this point in midlife where you really do reassess what you're doing, where you're going. And now with the economy being bad, a lot of people are being laid off, and they need to reinvent themselves. And so I talk about all those issues, not just, I have a little bit of, do you want to have a facelift or not? What does that really mean? But more talking about what you feel like, what are you doing? Here are the tools to help you do it. Do you want to give back? One of my shows that got a lot of hits was, here are 10 things to follow your bliss. Go to a library.
Absolutely.
People.
So this as a market, this is huge because it's the baby boomers, and we've changed everything in society in the last 50 years. And the difference is now we've got free time and money. We want to keep it. We want to stay alive. And guess what? We figured out it's not going to be like they taught us, that you work hard you get the kids, the grandkids. You're busy with all that. You retire, and then you die. We got a lot of life left to do, and we're like, what are we supposed to do? Like, I'm told, like, get a good job and keep it all my life. Well, that never worked for me, but it's not working for a lot of people that took that path.
I mean, to be honest, in the last 2 years of my job, because of budget cuts and the streamlining of certain processes, my job, which was a primarily creative job, I loved going to work every day, I really didn't. And I was blessed with going to work and loving my job, making a really good living, a six-figure income, doing what I loved. But really, it wasn't enough anymore. The traffic going to West LA from the Valley, and the fact that it became a drudge. And I was already feeling like I was pushing out in that direction. And I also, was living for the kids on the weekends, and now I'm in this, I've had partners, and I don't, now, but I was just in this enviable position to really start over. And I think part of what I want to do is be a poster child for those people who want to start over, whatever phase you're in, and whether you have kids or not, because it is, one of my other taglines, because I'm always, as an advertiser, for those who think young. And it's, I feel like I'm 16 most of the time. The body creaks a little, you get up. Yesterday my feet were swollen from walking all the time. And I also want advertisers to recognize that we are this. We are a viable community. I was talking to the people from Southwest, and I said to them, by the way, my son calls me to buy him the ticket on Southwest. You need to sponsor me, not some little vlogger that runs around, who can't afford to do his own thing. I mean, I have a second career. I mean, I've stayed consistent with, teaching social media to clients and businesses on a one-on-one basis. Not because, they make fun of it and go, oh, well, Facebook's for kids. No, these are tools. These are tools like a microphone, transmit audio. Cameras do this. Twitter has a place. Twitter is a tool, and it might not be for everybody, but it's okay to learn it. And I think that what I want to do is I'm a boomer evangelist. I want to go out there and say, don't knock it until you try it. Give it a chance. Be open-minded, and then, because I have to end up going to a lot of community functions, whether it's at the church or the synagogues or social media, and I want to be able to go out, because a lot of the people shy away from the things that you and I take for granted. They say it's for kids only, and it's not, and some of the social media campaigns, prove them wrong, and people want to put their toe in the water, but I want to be the person holding their hand to take them there.
Right. Well, we used to talk about, I used to have a friend, I'd meet up. I was in a Rotary Club, and I was the computer guy. And I'd come in, and he says, I don't need the computer or anything. And I was joking, and I said, if you're not planning on retiring in a couple of years, you're going to need to learn to have a computer on your desk. And pretty soon I found myself saying, if you're not planning on dying in 2 years, because if you need a computer, because the people would retire in the Rotary Club, and then they'd come sit at my table and start asking me questions, because now they had time to get a computer, and they were using it. That was back when 65 was a retirement age, and that's all a farce, a myth that we were sold, that somehow we needed to stop at 65. We have a lot more life left to live.
I actually came from a very unique family that my grandfather, bless his soul, he worked till he was 87. And he was a manufacturer's rep for furniture. He traveled. And so I don't know if it's in my genes or partly because of the work ethic, but I just never thought about that whole thing anyway. And also because I loved what I did. I mean, so many people, my father was a different case. His parents died when he was young, and he was raised by his sister. And when he was 18, they said, fine, we're done. And he wanted to be an electrical engineer, but couldn't go to college. He had to support himself. And so he ended up being an owner-driver of a taxi cab, independent. And his legacy to me also was go to college. I mean, I think he always wanted grandchildren, which I gave him anyway. But the legacy that he gave me was go to college and do something you love, because I didn't get to do that. So I'm really grateful for that. And I think some of the people that I've been meeting, were in the latter, not in that category of not doing what they love, and I think they realize that time is short. Your friends are dying. I've had people very close to me die really young. I mean, we don't know how much time we have left. I don't want to sound totally fatalistic, but another thing that Les Brown once said in a lecture was, life's too short. Eat the dessert first. I don't mean be irresponsible, spend all your money and then figure out you can't live anymore, but there are different ways to do different things in order to make your life easier, even if you're stressed, even if you go to a cruddy job, even if your mortgage is, behind a little bit, because really life is all we have. Our health is precious, and everything over and above that is gravy,
Right.
And
Right. Well, we don't need to worry about living a life someday or something like that.
Right.
Whereas I say, if you can tell the difference between work and play, you're not doing one of them right. Start having fun, enjoy your life, whatever happens. If it's something that we've been told was going to be a bad thing, so what? Live with it. It's going to be okay. Anyway, we probably could go on all day about this subject.
Thank you so
This
much.
is great.
Thank you for the opportunity.
And one more time, where do we find you?
www.lifeafterkids.tv, Sundays at 9 Eastern, 6 p.m. Central on minglemediatv.com. But if you go to my site, please come and live your best life. I mean, isn't it time we followed our bliss? Whatever that looks like, you can do it. And so, tell your friends, tell your parents. I love Warren for thank you. We met last year for this is a movement, this is a community, and we're very forgiving in this social media community. It's not exclusive, it's very inclusive. And if you don't know, ask a friend. Maybe don't ask your kid. My kids don't want to teach me anything, but their friends, they always help me. And there's always a really good way to find out what you need to do. So
Okay,
thank you so
great.
much, Warren.
Great. All right, thanks a lot. I'm Warren Whitlock for bestsellerauthors.com.